What if the life you built to prove you were enough is the very thing keeping you trapped? Today, we're talking about secrets, the ones you buried to be chosen, the shame you carried so no one will see your past. My guest went from bullied teen, nearly homeless single mom, and abusing relationships to building multi-million dollar properties and standing on a TEDx stage. And yet, success didn't set her free. Speaking her truth did. If you ever stayed silent to avoid judgment, if you ever confuse strength with suppression, if midlife feels less like a crisis and more like a reckoning, this conversation would hit. Let's dive in. Welcome, beautiful soul. This is Midlife Butterfly, the space where you remember who you truly are beneath all the roles, responsibilities, and expectations. I'm your empowerment guide, Ken, as you, and I hold this space for women in midlife who are ready to rediscover themselves, reclaim their joy, and live fully aligned. If you are new here, welcome to our cocoon. You've just entered a place where choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's sacred. So take a deep breath, drop into your heart, and let's dive in. In today's episode, I have the pleasure to have this beautiful lady, Candi Rose. She's an author, speaker, and storytelling coach who turned shame-filled past into a life of purpose. Once a college dropout with a criminal record and a survivor of severe trauma, she went on to flip hundreds of homes and build multi-million dollar properties. And today, as a full-time single mom, she helps people reclaim their voice, rebuild self worth, and step fully into who they are here to be. Welcome to the podcast, Candy. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, I'm glad to have you. And I would like to start by you telling us a bit about your story.
My story is pretty long.
That's why I
Uh,
said a bit, whatever you think is relevant for our audience of Midlife Butterfly.
yeah,
Since we're going to dive more into not feeling enough and the transformation that you went through your life after,
yeah,
a lot of, well, the roller coaster of life, basically.
yes.
So, yeah, I would like you to, to tell your story, like regarding like that side of your experience.
Yeah, I would say, like many of us women, I've been through some very difficult times in my life. I am a full-time single mom to a 15-year-old daughter.
Okay.
And in my younger years, I had a lot of trouble with. Actually, it started off, I was bullied in high school, and that's kind of what tipped everything for me. I ended up going down a pretty rough path and not really valuing myself, as a hurting teen. I was acting out and drinking and drugs, and I got into a lot of trouble with the law. I ended up dating men that did not treat me very good because I didn't value myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up getting into abusive relationships, and I ended up having a child out of wedlock, and I ended up raising that child completely on my own. It was very hard. It's very, very hard, as I'm sure a lot of I'm assuming there's a lot of single moms on this platform. And it was very hard. And it was at first I was very angry when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I was nearly homeless with a baby. I had no car, no money, no job. And when I became a single mom, we never saw him again. So she doesn't know her father. And it was a very difficult time for me. I made the decision after that event to, pick myself up, and I was going to work really hard to build a life for my daughter and I,
Mm-hmm.
and to make it an extraordinary life was the word that I used.
And you
I
did.
yes. Yes, but it wasn't easy. And it's okay that things aren't easy. At the time when I became a single mom, I was 31. So, I was, not necessarily super young, but like, it was time, that tipping point in life where, a lot of people are getting married and having families, and here I am, I just had a baby and I'm nearly homeless with nothing. So I felt a lot of shame about that. I felt a lot of anger,
Yeah.
but in building it all up, I ended up building my career back and working really hard, and my faith was very, very important to me.
Mhm.
And finally got back up on my feet, and here we are today. So things are going well today. I just did a TEDx talk on why speaking the truth sets you free.
I love
And
that.
thank you. Thank you. And just FYI, it is actually about setting yourself free from your past, from the secrets of your past. And I think as a woman in my midlife, that I've had a lot of secrets. I know that I've had a lot of secrets. And I feel that, I kept all these secrets inside because I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want to
Mhm.
be rejected. I wanted to be wanted. I wanted to be chosen. And I felt like if I had told, if I had talked about the traumatic events of my past, somehow it was gonna backfire on me. And, I think growing up, we're taught not to talk about a lot of stuff. We're taught to kind of keep it inside. You don't
Yes.
talk about it outside of the family.
Mhm.
You get over it, you move on. And I tried to do
Mhm.
that. But as it would have it, around the age of 40 is when I had a breakdown. And I said, no, I can't hold it in any longer. I've got to find some sort of relief from my past. I think at this point I was going through some sort of mental breakdown, and I just wanted to be free. I wanted to be free of everything that had happened in my past. And I was like, I'm going to start talking about it. I'm going to get help. I'm going to start journaling, and you know, journaling was very therapeutic, and I began to heal. And as I began to heal, I began to step into the woman that I was always created to be. And
Mhm.
that was in my midlife. And that is where I am now on this journey of understanding that we aren't supposed to hold everything inside. We're supposed to we're supposed to basically, what many of us have gone through, we're supposed to understand like it wasn't fair that we went through it,
Mhm.
but it's okay. And we can become stronger from it, you know?
Definitely.
That's kind of like my story in a nutshell. I have so much more to tell you, but I don't want to take the whole thing. I'll let you.
We're gonna dive a bit into that. Thank you so much for sharing this. And I want to go back to what you said is the secret of your past, because
Mhm.
it's we are so suppressed and we're being told to be the good girl. And again, as you mentioned before, because we don't want to be rejected or not be able to fit in, that we are afraid to speak our truth and we keep all these secrets. But I feel you, because at one point it just bottle up, and we cannot be truly ourselves if we don't speak that truth.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard too because you don't want to be judged. You already feel judged because, especially if you are now raising a child on your own, people are wondering, what did you do to cause that, as a
Yeah.
woman? And so you're already feeling judged, or, I was in an abusive relationship for 4 years, and I felt judged me for why did I stay for so long?
Mm.
And I don't know why. I know now why I stayed. I stayed
Hmm.
because at the time I didn't have a lot of self-worth. And I didn't think that I deserved a better man in my life because of my past. And so I allowed people to treat me that way, but I didn't know it at the time. I
Hmm.
know it now, and I can see it now with women who are in relationships that they shouldn't be in. And the only reason they're in those relationships is because they don't believe they deserve something better. And so
That's
that's like our, use what we need. We have to
yes.
show them love and we have to show them worth like somebody else showed me. You
Mhm.
know, I deserved better than that. So,
Yes.
yeah.
And I think that when we're in that bubble, we don't realize it
Mm-mm.
until something, I don't know, either we get out of that bubble suddenly, we are pushed, or it gets to a point that we are like, I'm fucking done. Like I
Yeah.
can't handle this anymore.
Yeah.
And it's hard. And it takes a lot of resilience.
Yes. It takes a lot of resilience and a lot of focus, and that comes from mindset.
Yes.
And that is very hard to do, but it is not impossible.
Mhm.
And I think the thing about having a reset in life is understanding that you're going to feel sadness. You're going to feel that sadness, especially if you've had somebody in your life, you know, a significant other that's been there.
Yeah.
You're going, you know, breaking up with somebody is very hard in the beginning. It's very
Mhm.
hard.
It
Um,
is because it's
yeah,
decades of the same beliefs, patterns, and then the collective is telling you to stay small, that you are not
yeah,
enough. They continue to tell us just with the images of how a woman supposed to look in color of hair, of eyes, skin, the sizes, all that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's difficult to be your own person. It's definitely difficult. But, you know, for me, my faith was a really big thing for
Mhm.
me. And so that always keeps me centered is, you know, whenever I'm having a really difficult time, I just
Yeah.
always have to remember to get focused back on my faith. And so I always call them F words or the best words. That's what I always say. And I say faith, family, fitness, finances, and freedom, you know? And so when you
Oh.
focus on those, nothing else matters, you know? It's
Mhm.
like faith is first, you put God first. Family is second, you put your kids second as a single mom. Kids come over men, ladies. Now, I'm
Yes,
only talking
please.
to the singles. If you're married, you're supposed to put your husband first, but if you're single, you got to focus on your kid and then you got to focus on your finances. And so as a single mom, I cut out dating pretty much. I mean, I don't date very much, but I cut it out for about a year and a half
Mhm.
when I first became a single mom because I couldn't focus on everything I wanted to achieve while dating. And so something had to go. So I
Mhm.
had my child. I didn't have any money. I needed to make money. I needed to take care of my mental health. I needed to, you know, take care of my physical health. You know,
Yes.
I had a lot going on. I was very depressed and I had to focus on all that. And I decided, okay, I'm going to cut dating out and I'm going to focus on God. I'm going to focus on my kid. I'm going to focus on making money. I'm going to focus on my fitness. And everything just took off.
Oh,
It just
wow.
took off.
It's
So,
incredible when you get to prioritize yourself
yes.
because it has to be first you for other things to actually move on and I mean move on a way that you want to because I mean we are the creators of our own reality and for that it's like where to put as you mentioned before the focus so then to create a life that is gonna feel joyful and fulfilling from the inside out.
Yeah. Yeah. And it wasn't easy, you know, we're created to want to be with people, you know,
Yeah.
physically, you know, in relationships, you know, I get that. I get
Mhm.
that. But at the same time, you got to pick and choose what's important to you until you get to the level that you need to get to. And I just feel that, yeah, relationships are too much trouble to, it's just while you're in that building phase, you know?
Yes.
And when you're in the building phase, you're also, you know, for me, going through a lot of the things that I went through, very, very challenging things,
Mhm.
my mental breakdowns, all those things. You know, when that happens, it's like, okay, I need to start reading like self-help books, spiritual books, and it's really is about filling my soul up with good stuff, you know, instead of
Yes.
societal stuff,
Hmm.
like going out and drinking and hooking up and dating. No, that is not going to help us. It doesn't help us.
No.
It's fun. Don't get me wrong, it's fun,
Uh-huh.
but it doesn't help us. And so it's like,
No.
yeah, we gotta take a step back. Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I think that again, until we get out of those bubbles or those breakthroughs, then we say, okay, it's my time. It's until we really probably can reflect a bit more and then take the decision of going inward. Because unfortunately, so many times when, I mean, I'm divorced, so it could be very easy for me just to probably go dating right away. But I was like, no, I really want to go inward. I gotta focus in myself. What do I need? What do I want? And once we are able to fulfill those things within, or at least to get to a level to say, okay, I know who I am better. I mean, we're
Mhm.
always learning who we are, but how come we are used to focusing someone else when we don't know anything about ourselves?
Yeah, that's funny because I was just talking to somebody about that on another podcast earlier, and he was saying that it seems like so many people are putting band-aids on their life and they're going and they're looking for somebody else to come and make them feel better. And somebody
Yeah.
else does make you feel better sometimes,
Uh-huh.
but unless you fix yourself, they're never going to make you happy, and you're never going to, unless you fix yourself, you never really know yourself. You have to, you have to really go deep to find yourself again. Like, to be
Yeah.
honest, I mean,
Yes.
I think that's what midlife is all about for
Mhm.
anybody,
Yeah.
whether we're in the cocoon environment
Yeah.
or somewhere else. By the way, I love caterpillars and I love butterflies. So I used to catch them when I was little and I
Oh,
loved
wow.
them. And yeah, and it's like I'm a spirit animal. It's like I've gone through so much uncomfortableness to just become this beautiful butterfly now.
Butterfly. Yeah.
But
No, but you were saying is because you say fixing, but then you say it's more like remembering who we are. It's not about fixing because that fixing that we think is out there is just that we have been fragmented so many times because again, we think we're not enough, we don't fit in, we feel shame, guilt, plus the opinions and expectations of other people that we fragment ourselves that we think we are not whole. And because we
Mhm.
feel that we are not whole, we think we're not enough. One,
Yes.
the truth is we've been enough from always. The creator made us. How on earth we're not gonna be enough?
Yeah. Yeah. I think midlife just means that we're realizing what was important, what should have been important all along.
Yes.
And that's our happiness and our
Mm-hmm.
family and helping with our aging parents and giving back to the less fortunate. I- It's like, I guess, it's like we have to get to this place in life to go, oh, yeah, none of that really mattered. All that stuff that we used to do didn't really matter. And I think it's beautiful. And it makes me tear up. And it must be because I'm emotional and in my midlife. But I think it's beautiful. So I don't think
Yeah.
we're not having a crisis. We're having an awakening,
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
happened in for you that it brought you to this like this awakening of then noticing, yes, like I'm worthy, I am enough. What was
Um,
kind of like the breakthrough there, like moment?
so at the height of my real estate investing career, I'm a real estate investor.
Okay.
I had been flipping hundreds of homes. I built multi-million dollar mansions and I even filmed a pilot on HGTV. So everything was going really well.
Hmm.
And at the height of my career, I just closed on the biggest project of my entire career, and I was miserable. I was so lonely, and I was so resentful. And I was like, why am I being resentful? I
Hmm.
had just built a home for my daughter and I. I mean, I had everything going for me, and I knew something was wrong. Something was really wrong because I thought, why am I not being grateful for this?
Oh.
And that's when I decided I was going to leave the United States and move to Spain. And I did. I moved my daughter and I to Barcelona, Spain. And I decided while we were there, we were going to learn Spanish. I put her in a concertada and I began to write my book. And so I began to write my book, and that's when I began to really try to figure out why was I so unhappy. And
Mhm.
that's when I went back and dealt with all of the trauma and the shame that I had been feeling for decades of my life. And that's when I began to find my freedom because I began to, instead of ignoring it, instead of ignoring my
Mhm.
past, instead of suppressing my past, I decided to face it, which was very uncomfortable, very sad. It was very hard, but it was very necessary. And that's what led me to eventually publishing my book and launching a speaking career and then getting on a TEDx stage. So it's been this process of really going back to what broke me as a child
Yeah.
and working through that to be able to be here now talking about it.
Oh, wow. So it's really your book, Naked, the one who propels you to start speaking your truth then.
Yes, yes,
Wow.
yes. Yeah. And I never in a million years thought I would be an author or a
Mhm.
speaker. So anybody listening thinking, oh, well, that's great, like understand me when I tell you this,
It was
it's a
not that.
process. You don't just wake up one day and think, oh, I'm going to get on a stage and tell everybody about my past or I'm
Yeah.
going to write a book. It's a small process. It's a gradual process of of healing and finding your freedom. I don't like to say I'm not a healer. I help women find their freedom.
Mm.
So that's what I do. And that's what I like to basically give everybody the opportunity to find freedom like I did from their past so they can be happy
Mhm.
again, you
Okay.
know? When you're happy, you when you find your freedom, that's when you find your purpose, your new purpose in life.
Mm.
Because it's there all along. It's just that you're lost and you don't know what it is. So when you find that freedom, then you step into your new identity and then you find your purpose over there.
Mm. What is your, I'm curious then, what is your definition of freedom?
Freedom, freedom from your past means no longer being ashamed the things that were done to you or the things that you did in your past because you were trying to survive. I'm a survivor. So I dealt with a lot of my actions, excuse me. I was trying to mask the pain that I felt. So
Mhm.
I did a lot of drinking and drugs and I was promiscuous and I I felt so much shame about my life that I considered at one point taking my life when I was younger.
Oh.
So having freedom means no longer allowing your past to control you. It means embracing your past and using it as
Mhm.
strength, using it as
Yes.
strength instead of allowing it to continue to break us. We take it and we say, you know what? That's our past. It's not fair that it happened to me, but I'm going to use it. I'm going to grow strong from it. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to speak about it because when you speak about it, you help other women to find their own freedom from whatever they're going through because so many of us are suffering in silence. So when
Oh,
I talk
yes.
about it, people are like, oh, well, if she did it, I can do it. And then
Mhm.
when they talk about it, whoever's in their life is going to be like, oh, well, if she can do it, I can do it. And they just make this big domino effect of women finding themselves again and finding freedom.
Yes, I love that. And that's so true what you just said. We suffer in silence because we think I mean, isolate ourselves because we think like this is only happening to me when
Right.
that's not true. I mean, it might not be the exact same situation to another person, but we go to a lot of similar things around. I mean, we are 8 billion people and we're in the same planet, right? So it's like
Yeah.
somebody is going through something similar to you, but we are
Yeah.
coming back to that shame and that guilt. That's I do believe that's why we don't speak it up.
Yeah. And, this day and age is so powerful because we have the podcast, we have communities, we have ability to connect. When I was going through all of my stuff, I was alone. We didn't have all of this stuff. I wasn't on social media. We didn't have the podcast, It was just kind of like you just dealt with it. And maybe you found a community like at church or somewhere, but even then, it was still difficult because you don't really want to open up unless those people have experienced something similar because we are afraid of being judged. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, what if I tell the wrong person? If you tell the wrong person,
Oh,
they might react in a way that you don't want them to react, and it could push you back into your silence because of the way they reacted. So it's very important to find communities like yours, like mine, where you know that you can go and be safe and you're not going to be judged. And that's where healing begins. That's where
yes.
freedom begins. I say healing, it is healing, but that's your step towards freedom
The
is
freedom.
breaking the isolation and forming connection. You know,
Hmm.
yeah.
Breaking the isolation and forming connection. I love that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah, and it's funny how it's actually i- intertwined. This, as you said, it's finding that freedom, finding that community, but at the same time, by going back to the self-love and self-worth, it goes kind of like intertwined for us to be able to open up more and
Mhm.
more,
Yeah.
because the more we trust ourselves and we know we are more enough, because again it's going through layers, right? The more we're
Right.
going to be open to talk to others, or probably for some other women it's vice versa. Probably they need to first speak up, so then for them understand that they are already whole and they are worthy. I guess it could be
Yeah.
from different ways. There's no only one way.
Yeah, no, there's multiple ways. But a lot of people don't start speaking first. For me, it was very therapeutic to be writing.
Mm.
And I know people say that all the time. Oh, you should journal. It's so helpful. And you're like, well, what do I journal? But there's so much to journal. And I think that, that's where you really have to come to terms of like, that's where it gets a little bit more specific. And, when you have to journal things such as like certain questions I'll ask in my community or in the workbook, when they're doing something is like, so how did that like not how did that make you feel, but like when you realize, when they start, I'll say instead of, nobody really started with shame when you were born. Nobody had shame. We
Nobody.
had pain. And so where did that pain come from? And then, when you have a question like that, you're like, oh, okay. Well, let me think about that. It's much easier to journal when you have a question instead of like, my day was great. I had eggs for breakfast. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
when you have a question like that, and then it's like, when I talk about nobody builds walls on purpose, but when you built that wall, what did you think it was protecting you from? And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I was being, for me, it's like I was being bullied. So I decided I wasn't going to let people in. I decided I was going to, and then, so what I'm saying is there's journaling, there's speaking, there's all kinds of ways to find freedom from your past. But typically, from what I've seen, a lot of people feel more comfortable writing about it first. That's kind of
Hmm.
like the first step. And then eventually they're like, okay, I think I want to talk about it now. And that
Mm.
might not be necessarily showing their face. Like it could be them not showing their face and talking about it. There's a lot of different ways for people to, you know, do it while they continue to find their comfort level of where they are.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how long did it take you to write your book?
I wrote my book in probably not very, I wouldn't say like the whole book took me maybe 6 months to write, but I edited it for years.
Okay.
The editing is like really, really
Uh,
crazy.
yeah.
And at some point you have to say it's enough. Like I'm
Hmm.
done.
Yeah.
And I had an editor And so she would edit it, and then I would go back in and change and add. And
Mhm.
then finally she was like, Candy, you have to be done with this book. You just have to put
Yeah.
it out there. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
can
that's
still
what.
go back and change.
So that, yeah, because we're continuously changing and reframing our past,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So so in that case, yeah, because you're talking about journaling. So in that case, like when since your 30th is when you start like journaling more at a deeper level, just to say, as you mentioned, not just what did you eat today, like more like self-reflection writing.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, for me, I just wanted to tell my story. I just wanted to get it out. I didn't it's made me feel sick. So I
Mm,
wanted to get it out. I felt like if I could just write it, I'll be free. If I could just write all the horrible things that I've ever done
yeah,
or that happened to me. Because when I say horrible things I've ever done, a lot of things happened to me that weren't my fault, right? It wasn't my fault that I was abused. It wasn't my fault that I was bullied. It
of
wasn't
course
my
not.
fault, that I was left to raise a child on my own. But the way I responded to those things was my fault. So it
Mm,
had to take a lot of, it was hard. I had to take the responsibility that I was here in my life because of me, even though those things were not my fault, the way I responded to them was. So, because I wasn't responding very good, it kept escalating and snowballing and all of that. So, it was like I had to get to a point where it was like, okay, I've got this.
mhm.
And so I wanted to write about everything I did because I did, I almost went to prison. I mean, the book goes very, very detailed into a lot of really, really gruesome, vulgar stories of my life, right? Of like things that I did and things that I found, situations I found myself in, and how I felt. And like at my darkest point, I'm talking about how I'm, on the floor just throwing up like profusely because I had done so many drugs and alcohol that night. And I just remember crying out to God, like saying, please take this pain from me. And I remember going to sleep and thinking, I hope I wake up tomorrow because I don't know if I'm going to wake up because I was so sick from the substance abuse. And I wanted to write about that because I wanted to just get it out. I didn't want anybody to think I had any more secrets. I didn't want anything to be used against me. I
Mm.
just, I just wanted it to be out. And so I was like, I'm gonna write this book. I put all the things in there. And then but I put all the good stuff in there too, all of the,
Mhm.
ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. And then eventually it landed on an up.
Yeah.
So that's why I wrote it. And that's why I think journaling is great because it helps you to like purge, to get it
Yes.
out. Yeah. And
Yeah.
when you write about it, you have to face it. So
Hmm.
you're no longer suppressing it. You're
Hmm.
actually facing it. You're just writing about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that your perspective about the book was that, like, getting it out to free yourself from the past. But I think, unfortunately, I mean, and more as women, we are very afraid to tell our truth because we think we're going to lose respect or, or safety, or as you said before, being judged.
Yeah. And you might,
Wow, that's
but the
true.
thing is that the people that are judging you, those are not your people. The people that
Mm,
are judging you because you want to be better and you want to tell the truth and you want to, you want to own what you did or you want to own it. It's like, yeah, I did that. I shouldn't have done that. That's very hard to tell people, but
yeah.
I don't want to be like that anymore. So I'm telling you what I did, and I'm going to work hard to become somebody better, you know? And
Hmm.
I worried for a long time that if I wrote this book, I would never find a man that would love me because of all the things I've done. But then I realized I don't want to be with a man if he judges me for the things that I've done.
Mm,
I want to be with a man that loves me through all
fully.
the things I've done.
Yes.
So it was very, very difficult, but it was very, very necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. My eyes are watering now because that is so true. We are afraid to show all our parts. And if we want, and not only men, anyone, any relationship,
Mhm.
if I mean, if it's true towards us, that relationship, they gotta love us the way we are, fully,
Yeah.
right? And even if they don't understand it, it's just about accepting,
Yeah.
and that's all we need because we are
Yeah.
love. I mean,
Yeah. I was afraid what my two fathers would say, my dad and my stepdad. They still haven't read my book. I still worry. I don't know what they're going to say when they hear my TEDx talk because I talk about a lot of stuff on stage.
uh-huh.
I don't know what they're going to say, but then I thought it's not for them. My message isn't for them. And
Mhm.
I just, so just because like somebody asked me earlier, they said, do you just not feel shame anymore? And I said, yeah, I feel shame. I still feel shame. It's just that I don't let it control me anymore.
Yes.
And the way that you overcome the shame of your past is by not letting it hold power over you in the darkness, because shame holds power in your secrets in the darkness. And if you want to heal, you've got to get it out somehow. Somehow. You don't have to go write a book. You don't have to go get on the stage, but you got to get it out somehow. You have to somehow get it out.
Mhm.
And so there is that chance that people might judge you. And that's the chance that you have to take during your journey to finding freedom. But once you do that, you will find other people out there like you. And that's when you start building that community and you're like, oh, I didn't know. There's so many other
Yes.
people out here struggling like I was. And now you're with them and now they're supporting you and you're supporting them and you're helping each other along the way. And then you start to think, I don't even care about these people anymore. These people over here judging me, I
Mhm.
don't even want to be with them. They're judging because they don't understand. They've never walked in my shoes.
Mhm.
They've obviously never gone through anything difficult because if they had, they wouldn't judge me. You know?
Mhm. Yeah, of course.
They wouldn't. Like
Yeah.
if you're an addict, you're not going to judge another addict. If you are a mother of an addict, you're not going to judge another addict because it's touched you somehow
Mhm.
personally. If so if you're a single mom, you're not going to judge another single mom who's out there trying to do her best job. But if you've never had to worry about that and you've
Yeah.
been married and you're perfect and you've never made any mistakes, you might judge a single mom,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
They don't they People judge what they don't understand. And I guess the point is you don't want those people in your life anyways if they're going to judge you because they don't understand you and you're never going to make them understand.
Yeah, we don't have to.
No.
No, we don't have to. And as you said, I mean, you write it down, you publish it, and you are speaking it up because it you are doing it for yourself first.
Mhm.
That as a ripple effect is you're creating community and then you're helping other women, people in general. It's a consequence, it's a domino effect of what you did for yourself. And
Right.
I think what matters the most because you're not doing it for others, even though it sounds selfish. But one of the things that I have learned that is that we have to be selfish because that's the only way that you can, in the case that you are building and you have built what you have done, because you prioritize yourself.
Yeah, and I had to do it for myself in order to know that it would work for other people.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I did it for myself and now I can say it works. You should do it.
Yes, please.
Come on over. Tell me your secrets. I promise I won't judge. And I am not. I am the most non-judgmental person. And I have so many strangers that just come up to me and start talking to me. And I used to laugh and like in a nice way, I'd ask my daughter, I'd say, do I have a sign that says, tell me your story? And I guess it was just, when you start to heal and you start to find freedom, you just have this new aura about you. You're just like, I am I am at peace. I am happy, coming from many of us women that have been in horrible situations, rock bottom situations, desperate, hopeless. I've been there. I've been there. But when you start to get to the other side, you have this, I guess, this aura about you. And so a lot of people would I'll just meet them and they just tell me their story, their life story. And this was before I even started speaking. But now that I'm a speaker, have tons of people always waiting lined up to come and talk to me afterwards, which I love. But it's funny to look back and see like I had that before I started speaking about me. And
Yeah.
now I feel honored that people would want to that feel safe enough to come and tell me things that they don't typically talk about. Like I feel honored to be
Mm,
that person, you know?
yeah, of course. Of course. And
Just like you
and
probably feel honored for us to come and tell you our stories.
of course, yes. And it's a gift
Yeah.
because it's a gift to, in this case, for me to receive your wisdom, your experience. And at the same time, when we get to offer it to others, it's also a gift for them.
Mm,
It's just so beautiful.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Life is beautiful. Once again, we have our ups and downs. While it's beautiful, we just have to
Uh,
really, really enjoy it.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, and
Yeah.
and I read this not long time ago somewhere in Instagram that it said something like, if God is testing you, and one of the things that I have realized is like, God doesn't test us. It's just life itself. That's what we come here to experience as humans. And because if we think or we believe that we're being tested, it's like, meaning like, what, am I a bad girl? Like, why do I need testing from God? If God is love itself, he just wants to experience through us. And he's like, okay, let's just jump in there and said, okay, what do you want to experience through me? I'm here for it. And yes,
Yeah.
it's gonna be all those ups and downs, but I guess it's just seeing life from a different perspective and seeing it,
Mhm.
okay, what is it gonna be? We don't know, but we are
Yeah.
ready. And the more we feel that groundedness and we have that faith
Yeah.
is what it can just hold us here and say, okay, I'm ready to whatever it is to come.
Yeah. That's that's the pretty sorry, my nose is sniffles. That's a pretty strong statement. I'm ready for whatever is to come because you're like, oh, what is that gonna be? But yeah, yeah, you gotta. I think that's what it means when people say I'm being tested is like, are you going to, keep the faith that things are going to work out,
Mhm.
or are you going to not keep the faith? And there's been times that I've gotten down, even being a believer and
Oh, yeah.
having such a great outcome of a lot of events in my life, knowing that my faith and God helped me get here. I've had slip ups where I've fallen off and I've
Of
gotten
course.
really sad and I've acted out. And I don't want anybody to think that I'm perfect because I'm not. Like I'm human. It's
Hmm.
just that those things happen fewer and further between now.
Yes.
So I don't act out every time now. I'm human, ladies.
Yes. No, and I'm glad that you mentioned that because yeah, I mean, I said yeah, it was hard statement to say whatever it happens, but it's more about that, like saying yeah, and sometimes we're gonna feel like shit, and sometimes we're gonna be angry at God, and it's
Yes.
valid
Yes.
because it's again, as you say, we're humans. It's
Yeah.
this experience, and it's like okay, what are we gonna experience today? What are gonna be the emotions? It's gonna be joy and expansion, or sometimes it's gonna be sadness and grief and all
Yeah.
the range that we have here to beautifully experience through our bodies. It's just
Yeah.
uh,
And we're women, so we have this extra, emotional sense about us. And we have these
Yes.
hormones that really just really play into everything. So, but I have found out that not drinking helps those. That
Hmm.
doesn't sound like a lot of fun, I know, but that's definitely helped me a lot in, my keeping more steady,
Hmm. Yes.
and cutting out the alcohol. I know that's not a very popular topic,
Hmm.
but I found that's helping a lot. So, sometimes you just have to cut it out. Like I said, you have to cut out the dating for a while. You might need to cut out the alcohol. You got to figure out whatever it is that I know there's a lot of people listening that, they have a lot of things going on in their life,
Yes.
and they're uncertain about things or they're confused or they're feeling worried, you know?
Hmm.
And sometimes the best thing for that is, like I've said in the past, is, faith and spending time with family and going for a walk and, really taking time to really see what's going on with myself and reading and really just spending time with yourself as much as you can. If you have children, I get
Hmm.
that, but there's always a little bit of time that you get with yourself, whether it's in the shower or maybe they go to school or whatever, but or maybe at night after they go to bed, but there's just always a little time. And instead of allowing your mind to just mindlessly search the internet or watch things, you can always watch a show like yours or whatever, get some positivity in your head and stop letting societal influences come in and make you confused. Because sometimes you just have to figure out I've got to get focused. And what is that? What does that look like for me? And you will
Hmm.
find it. You'll find it if you stay focused on the F words or the best words.
Can you repeat them again?
Faith, family, fitness, finances, freedom. And there's
Freedom.
one other word, F, that we like. No, 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 not that. I always say, no, you got to take that one out. We're not doing that, ladies. We're taking that one out. Yeah. Fornicating. Okay, we're not doing that. We're taking that out to get us in line with what we need to do. Unless you're married, I don't know. Then you do whatever it is you do that married people do.
Yeah, it's your choice anyway.
I
Yeah.
haven't been married actually. So I do have a daughter that's almost 15. I was engaged. I called the wedding off and when she was about 1 year, 4 months, and then we never saw him again. So I've raised her on my own, completely on my own. Never received any child support from him. She doesn't know him. I don't know how that happens because I can't ever imagine leaving my child. But, I've never been married and I always wanted to be married. And then I hear from a lot of marrieds who are now divorced say that they're never going to get married again. And now I'm confused. So,
I, I'm
yes.
I'm sure whenever you get to another romantic relationship, your soul is gonna guide you, and then because at the end it's not. I mean, I've been divorced twice, like married twice and divorced twice. So my way of seeing it is just the a paper is not gonna give you the commitment. So it's
Hmm.
more about that. I mean, we can be committed and not needing, in that case, a paper between.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it depends what you choose to do at
Would you
that
get married
point.
again?
You know what? I don't know. I'm not gonna say no because I don't know.
But
Let's see
you're
what.
open to it.
Yes, I'm open to it. Let's see
That's
what's
good.
gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. I think that's a good mindset to be. Is like, I don't know. Because I don't know. Do
Yeah,
you
I
want to
don't
get
know.
married? I'm like, I don't know, maybe. I thought I did. Maybe.
uh, yeah, I don't know. It's just the flow of life, and I guess it's about how we feel at that moment and with that person, and then how we want to build at the very moment. We don't know until we get there,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
yeah, I would like to know, like, since now you're really like owning your story, you are speaking and you have wrote about it. What is really like the tangible impact that has created in your life?
When you say tangible impact, like what do you mean exactly?
In this case, what you said before, you have the your business, like for what was it about the houses, but then is when you realize that was not it because you felt miserable. But now that you are really speaking your truth, what
Oh,
is it that you can see tangible, and also like in relationships, whatever, yeah, like what has been kind of
yeah.
like what you can see because you dare
Yeah.
to speak
So
your
I am still a real estate investor. I just put it on pause to go find myself
okay.
and write my book. But the tangible thing now is really just living in my new calling. So I feel like my new calling is to go out there and speak my truth so that I can encourage other women to speak their truth and to change lives. And I love to speak and I love to write. I have a couple other books that are half written
Okay.
that I will be finishing hopefully soon. And I am creating a community now for women to be able to come in and share, speak their truth, become comfortable with facing their painful past, show them the way to their own freedom.
Mhm.
And so that's what makes me feel alive. I really love it. Like real estate investing, that's fun, but this is a feeling that I have never really felt. It's like it's just an amazing feeling to be doing something that you love and helping people while you're doing it. And
Yes.
it's genuinely that's what I love to do. So to be able to do what you love, they say you'll never work a day in your life.
True.
And that's what I want. I want women to be able to find freedom from their past so they
Hmm.
can find themselves again and find their purpose so that they can live out the rest of their life doing what they love and helping others with it.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Ah. Mm. I think, I mean, this has been such a beautiful conversation, all your shares or your wisdom, and knowing that you are doing the work that you love because you did the work because of your faith, because of your your resilience for your life and how you have allowed yourself to feel that freedom by forgetting another no not forgetting forgiving your past and allowing it is just it's wow what I can say. I think I did it. I think I do believe that it's incredible. And I would like you to share like where can the audience can find you.
So I am going to give you all of my links afterwards because I'm working on that free community right now. And
Okay.
I'm always giving away like free things to help people, because that's like that my heart. Like I want to help the masses.
Mhm.
And of course, there's all other ways to do different kinds of coaching in the future, but I'm really just creating more of a community right now to show women how to take that next step towards finding their freedom. So I'm going to give you all of the links, and then
Okay.
when you share this, they can go there and they can join the community. They can see my TEDx talk that's coming out in about 30 days. So probably when you're going to be sharing this,
Yes.
then they'll be able to, join my social medias and stuff too if they'd like.
Okay, beautiful. We're gonna put all that on the show notes. And I would like to know, how would you call this stage of your seasoning of your midlife?
How would I call it? I would call it freedom. Freedom.
Love it. Freedom, yeah. And
Yeah.
to close with this question, what's a pleasure you enjoy the most?
Oh, I love to go to the gym.
Oh, okay.
Is that what you mean? Is
Yeah,
that what?
whatever feels you feel
Oh,
pleasure, yeah.
I love to go to the gym. I'm actually going to go after this podcast. And I also love to rollerblade.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah. And I have also been doing Believe it or not, I don't typically talk about this on podcasts because sometimes people think, what is she talking about? But I've been doing pole dancing, but
I thought you were going to say that.
it's pole tricks, ladies, not the actual pole dancing in a club, okay? I did that when I was younger. That's in my book. But no, it's pole fitness and it's so beautiful and it's so challenging. And to be doing that in my midlife when most of the people in there in their 20s is awesome. So I would say if there's anything challenging that you've been wanting to try and you're thinking, oh no, I'm too old for that. No, you're not. No, you're not. It might take you longer, but it's okay. You can still do it if you want to do it. And you should try things. And yeah. Yeah, I'm all about leading by example. As like, hey, I did this crazy thing. You should try it.
Yeah. It's never too
Yeah.
late. It's just about bringing curiosity and then being open to it. And I know that pole dancing is, as you said, it's challenging, but I think it's such a beautiful way of exercising body, mind, and of course the soul is included in
Yes, yeah, and it's more of like the pole inverting and tricks and stuff, just because I can see like people going, "What is she doing? What is she talking about?" But anyways, it's a lot of fun. It's a
it.
lot of fun. Yeah. So,
Awesome. That's what life about. Having fun, sharing love, and sharing truth. And
what
thank you
about
so
you?
much.
What is
Mm,
your favorite things to do?
To do rock climbing.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been doing that. I kind of last year started like over. I tried a few times before, but last year I was like, yes, I want to try this again. I just loved it. I mean, it's
Wow.
you gotta be present or present. Like you don't have any other option. And at the same
Wow.
time, you're exercising the body and it has kind of like a technique and stuff. So I just enjoy it
Mhm.
so much. I love it.
Wow. That sounds scary to me. I wouldn't want to do that. But that's awesome. That's awesome that you like to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's very fun too.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, Candy, again, thank you so much for being here in Midlife Butterfly, for sharing your voice, your wisdom, and thank you from the
Thank
heart.
you.
Seriously.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you for tuning in to Midlife Butterfly. I hope this episode empowered you in some way. Share the love by hitting follow wherever you're listening and leave a review if you feel inspired. I also love to connect with you. Come say hi on Instagram at Midlife Butterfly. I love to know you. Until next time, keep spreading those wings and live in joy, growth, and pleasure.